We all warmed up now for our anti-tank training. I love this material. It's late 1944 training film for the German Panzerfaust, which literally means panzer fist. You gotta like the German language. The Panzerfaust was a one-off, handheld anti-tank weapon. As the numerical superiority of the Russian and American mechanized forces increased during the war, these close combat weapons gained in importance. Their development also continued, mostly with an increase in their range. There was a reusable German anti-tank weapon similar to the US bazooka called the Panzerschreck. Panzer Terror. Yeah, man. But we'll present that in another video. So we'll be seeing parts of this beautiful original training film that was used to show German soldiers, and to be honest, last-ditch youths and old men, how the weapon was assembled, the correct way of using it effectively, and also demonstrating the kind of damage that could be done with it. After walking you through this, I'll introduce some footage of the weapon out in the wild, and even some private films that will show it being used. There's really nothing that gets me more excited than unique private footage. Is that a little weird? I don't care. During 1944 and 45, on both the Eastern and Western fronts, the German Wehrmacht found itself fighting largely defensive battles and facing massed formations of enemy tanks. The Panzerfaust was the most common close combat weapon the German infantry was provided with, and was capable of stopping even the most heavily armored tanks. Using this weapon provided soldiers with an alternative to actually needing to jump on the tank to destroy it. With the Panzerfaust II, targets could be up to 30 meters away, that's about 98.5 feet, and they could be fired from protected positions. Here is the new 60-meter Panzerfaust. It had the same destructive capability as the Panzerfaust II, but with its range doubled. The Panzerfaust was both a weapon and its ammunition in one. 4 of them were transported in each crate, and they were easily assembled for use. The ball head was made ready for fire by loading the firing cap and the explosive charge inside. Important for the soldier to remember was that on firing, an intense jet of fire extended 3 meters or 9.84 feet behind the weapon. They could never be fired in closed areas. The weapon could be fired from a number of different firing positions. The usual position was kneeling, with the firing tube rested on the soldier's shoulder. In this way, the soldier was able to aim easily and was himself a relatively small target. The firing tube could also be held under his arm. However, in this position, the soldier offered a much larger target. When fired, the left hand needs to be at least 5 centimeters or about 2 inches away from the ball head, and the ball head should not be resting directly on the ground. In special situations, the weapon could be fired from trenches or foxholes as long as there was a minimum of space. The Panzerfaust 60 differs from the Panzerfaust II in the way it is handled and fired. It weighed a bit more at 8.5 kilograms or 18 pounds. On the weapons sights, you can see the pre-marked distances. Here is the firing trigger. Here we see the two weapons together. When firing at a tank traveling at a medium speed, if you are situated 30 meters away, aim at the front of the tank. At 60 meters, aim about a half length of the tank in front. And at 80 meters, aim an entire tank length in front. About 14,000 German soldiers were awarded the Tank Destruction Badge for destroying a tank with handheld weapons. The soldier who received the most badges was named Gunther Bisens, who destroyed 21 tanks single-handedly. Development after the Panzerfaust 60 continued, with the Panzerfaust 100 and then eventually 150 being introduced. Before we look at some Hungarian footage, a Volkssturm film clip, and the private material I mentioned, please take the time to subscribe to this channel. Please like this production and hit the bell so that you are informed when the next video is uploaded. I expect to be doing about 2 or 3 a week, so if you have any specific topic requests, please write it down in the comment section below and I'll see what we can do. This late war footage shows an elderly man being introduced to the hand grenade, being issued a standard K98 rifle, and eventually shown how to fire a Panzerfaust. These Volkssturm units were made up of a mix of volunteers and drafted old men, whose fighting effectiveness was minimal at best. The Panzerfaust was both a compact and robust anti-tank weapon. Troops that were cut off from their normal supply lines could easily be resupplied with them by air. The simplicity of the weapon meant that there was little chance that they'd be damaged during transport. This is private footage from a small collection of films from 1942-43 that show Romanian soldiers training for close combat. The soldier is preparing and firing a Panzerfaust II. The original film has a runtime of 6 minutes and 5 seconds, and the content is interesting, the quality of the film footage is great, and it's absolutely rare. Here we see Molotov cocktails being used together with white phosphorus bombs. On contact with the air, white phosphorus bursts into flames and emits smoke, which affects the tank crew's visibility. The burning substance would also hinder them from opening the hatch and using their small arms in defense. Molotov cocktails would be used to destroy the vulnerable tank.